Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel and you're watching A Lawn Care Life. It's cold outside, so I'm sitting in my truck, but today I want to talk to you about some of the first year mistakes I see people make. And maybe if you're getting in the lawn business, I know every year lots and lots and lots of people get in lawn business, and also lots of people get out of the lawn business. But for those people who are starting out, let me just give you some advice. I'm gonna go over 5 points here of mistakes that I see people make, and maybe through the video you pick up some practical advice on what not to do, but also in turn learning what to do as well. So let's get started with the 5 things. Number 1 is, I called it hesitating. Okay, in my opinion, not my opinion, but through my experience, the peak months for me, and I'm in Alabama, this may vary depending on where you're at, but like March, April, and May are by far my best months for getting new customers. And so if I hesitate after that, it's not that I can't get customers, and it all depends on your financial situation and how desperate you are. But like if you need to really ramp up a lawn business quickly, it's probably gonna be in the springtime is your best opportunity to do that. If you say, well, I'm wanting to start my lawn business in September and I'm wanting to get it going real quick, it's probably gonna be difficult because people are toward the end of the year. You know, you transition to fall and winter, and it's just not a time that people are hiring for that thing. Not that you can't get some customers, not that you can't start planning a lawn business to get it going, that maybe the next year you're gonna ramp up, and that's not a bad idea. But in general, springtime and then summer would be your second best opportunity to pick up new customers. So if you hesitate and wait past that, it's almost like at that point, you know, you can get going into it, but you're probably gonna have a hard time getting it to grow too fast, and you might have to just sort of get your feet wet and try to ramp it up the next year. Point number 2 is similar to this, and it's not being aggressive enough. Now, some people may be overly aggressive. If this doesn't apply to you, just don't worry about it. But I think, again, with that being said, that the springtime is your best opportunity, then if you don't have many yards to take care of, then that means you have a lot of time to go try to get new customers. Now, the things that you might do your first year to get customers are things that you might not do later as you get established. For example, I used to go knock on doors and put out door hangers and do a lot of things like that, direct mail, and I don't really do much of any of that anymore. Not that those are bad things, not that they can't return customers. So with the springtime being your best opportunity, you, in my opinion, you need to be aggressive during that time and launch your full marketing campaign then, because that's your best opportunity. If you wait past that, you're gonna have a hard time getting customers. Truth be told, knocking on doors is very effective for getting customers. I'm not saying go do it. It might not even be illegal to do it where you're doing it, but it is effective. And whatever you're doing like that, or doing door hangers or postcards or direct mail, I mean, if you can pick that first warm spell we get in the spring, whether that be March, April, whenever, when that weather starts warming up, it has more to do with the weather than the calendar a lot of times, but when it gets warm, that's when people are out working in their yard, the grass starting to turn green, and they're wanting something done. And a lot of people just make impulse decisions on who they're gonna hire for their lawn care service. So if you're out there in their neighborhood that day, or they get something in their mail that day, whatever marketing you're gonna do, that's a good time to do it, because then they say, hey, we need something done to our lawn now, and I just got this in the mail, or this person just came by, or this was on my door. You know, that's the timing, and being aggressive during that time is gonna give you the best chance of getting customers. Now, long term, you know, I talk all the time about having an internet presence with a website, social media, marketing, getting to know people in the community who can send you referrals. Those are great things, but those things can take time to really pay off. Where the things I'm talking about are more short term for your first year, just trying to get these initial customers, knowing that, hey, it really can be difficult to get customers your first year, and it should be easier as time goes on. Number 3 mistake I see people make is pricing, and they can go to extremes with this. I'm gonna be a full service option, offer everything, and my price is gonna be high because I'm the best. And sometimes when you're new, it can be hard to really break people into that market. Not that there's not customers looking for that, and that's not a good strategy. It just can be difficult if you don't have the experience and the equipment and the things to be able to offer all those services. And then the opposite is sometimes probably a more common mistake, and that's pricing too low. I'm starting off, I just need the business, so I'm gonna charge a cheap price, and that causes all kind of problems for you. The kind of customer you're gonna attract is probably not ideal. You're ultimately not making enough money to grow the business. If you grow to that point where you can't do all the work yourself, you're really not probably making enough profit to be able to hire some help, and that can really eat into your profit. So just finding what works for you, a pricing that works for you, your business, not being too low, not being too high. I mean, I try to be, middle range basically, because I think I can improve on my efficiency and other ways to make my business profit without being too high, but I certainly don't want to be too low on my prices. Another mistake people make is just financially, whether they don't have the money to get started, and so that they're just at a really disadvantage from the very beginning, having to use lesser equipment. Now you can get started with whatever equipment you got. People ask me, can I use a push mower? Can I use a garden tractor? I mean, use whatever you got. But if you don't have any money to get started, it can be difficult to get going, and you are at a little bit of disadvantage. But you have to overcome those things, and I tell people just use what you got and upgrade your equipment as soon as possible. But the opposite can be true, where people go out and they spend too much money on equipment without having the revenue coming in, and that can be a devastating mistake to their business, not just lawn business, any business. But if you're having a lot of payments and a lot of debt weighing down on your business, not much revenue. So, this comes in, there's not like a cookie cutter answer that fits everybody. We don't know what your financial situation is. If you've got money, then it makes sense, go buy nice equipment to get started with. If you don't have as much money, then you may have to start off with some lesser equipment and work hard to build up that revenue as quickly as possible. And I'll say this, when I've started my lawn business in the past, I've worked part-time jobs on the side to supplement my income, because just to be honest with you, it's hard to make enough money in your first year if you're not working full-time in the lawn business. You think, I'm not going to be able to get enough business to fill up my schedule. Now maybe you can. I'm usually was not able to fill up my schedule the first year, and so I supplemented my income by doing other things on the side. The fifth mistake I'm going to hit on today is too much diversification. I'm not saying you can't diversify yourself in the lawn business. You can do a lot of different things. There's plenty of companies out there that do hardscapes, mowing, weed control and fertilization, irrigation, all these different things, and can offer all those. But I think it is difficult for a one-person operation, unless you're just an extremely gifted person, to get out there and offer many different things. And sometimes in the customer's eyes, it can make you seem like you're not as focused and probably not as much of an expert in one area, because it just seems like you do a little bit of everything. So, this is tricky, because you need to do what you got to do to make a living, to make money. I understand that, and you make this decision. But I would say let's focus on one thing, or one or two things. Let's say I'm gonna really focus on cutting grass, and it doesn't mean I'm not gonna offer like hedge trimming or do some other stuff in the winter or whatever to make money. I'm not saying that, but I would say, I'm gonna cut. I would avoid saying I'm gonna cut grass, and then I'm gonna do some fertilizing, and then I'm gonna lay sod on the side, and then we do gutter cleaning, and we'll pressure wash your house, and it's just like, if you can make all that work, great. But it seems like you're gonna have a hard time being focused on one thing. And if I had to go home every day and unhook my lawn mowing trailer and hook up my pressure washing trailer and then go wash cars the next day, it's so much diversification. It comes across, in my opinion, as being not as professional in the customer's eyes. And I would like to have somebody who was committed to one thing. And like I said, related industries make sense. Like if you're cutting grass, it makes sense that you also gonna trim hedges, do mulch, pine straw, things like that. I understand that. But getting too diversified, in my opinion, is a mistake. Now, once you get established and grown, if you want to say, hey, I see an opportunity over here, I think we could add this service and really make more money, then I understand that. And at that point, it makes sense. I'm just talking specifically about your first year. So, it's tricky. You got to balance it out. You got to make money. You got to do what you do to get through your first year. Understand it can be difficult, okay? Not everybody makes it, I understand that, and I'm not trying to make this sound overly simplified. It is a difficult thing, but if you persevere, usually it gets easier as you go on, and once you get an established customer base, then you have much more people to send you leads, and it becomes easier to get customers. I'm Jason Creel. I've got a lot of resources on the channel here, about 500 videos helping people in the lawn care business. Also have a website, lawncarelife.com, where I have some other resources available. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.